Like I said, Richard Nixon or Jimmy Carter or someone was threatening me one time. And he's like, "Do you know what can happen to you once you get inside this room? I can do anything I want. All these people are blah blah." I'm like, and like Richard Nixon or Jimmy Carter or someone was like, "Look at this. I sit behind this desk and I'm you. I'm you now." I'm like, "What are you gonna do? Write a letter?" It's just a desk and a chair. It's just a house. That's all the White House is. It's just a desk and a chair and a house. And its only significance was that it was my house. But I'm not in my house anymore, am I? So, i.e., it's just a house with a desk and a chair. And Nixon and JFK were like, and I sit behind the chair and I'm you. You know, a lot of people would describe the presidency of the White House as the sword in the stone. They used to describe that as Camelot and pulling the sword from the stone. One will rule. And it's like, no, it was just my house, and I was that powerful. I was that old. And I did create the universe and all that other stuff, and all these people are just sit behind the desk and maybe the magic will happen. So later on, when they captured me and I was telling people, I was like, look out! He has a desk and a chair and a piece of paper. He might write something on my stationery. Ah. Watch out for the president! Oh my god, he has a desk and a chair. He might write something on my official letterhead. Look out for Clinton or Trump. Like, the most amount of damage that anybody ever did was basically JFK, and he was pretty much attacking China or someplace like that. And trying to take over the world and the universe. And he didn't even get that far. But the farthest he got was making 30 clones of himself, which got tortured. And found out the truth of the universe. And maybe he captured me for a minute. Trying to get me to get my exoskeletons to lay down their arms. They're kind of attached. Yeah. And China and Germany and a bunch of other countries kicked their ass. And then Nixon spent the rest of his lifetime lying about what he had the Yankees or the people from whatever country do. And realistically, what he was actually doing is he basically just made sure that nobody in the country of America around the White House knew what he was doing. By stopping all the mail and everything else and making sure that soldiers died before they came home. It was Nixon or JFK or the president or whatever that would just make sure that no soldier left Vietnam or left that country alive. That they died and all their mail was stopped before. You know, so once you went into his army or once you were working for him, like, he made sure that you died and your mail never went home, so no one ever knew what you did. And it only lasted like 2 or 3 years, and then people started finding out. Because they didn't kill everyone. I mean, everyone needs supplies, so the aircraft would come in, or the people would come in, and they would talk every now and then, small talk and stuff like that, and find out things, and they would go home, and then they would tell their loved ones, blah, blah, blah. And so they only were able to keep it up for 2 or 3 or 4 years, and then it started to break down. Like, they couldn't keep that big of a secret. My pilots would be flying over, like, look, the fighting's happening in mainland China. What the... You know, my pilots were flying over the whole time. And then they would get home, and 1 or 2 of them, you know, they didn't know how about the psychotic whatever. So they just didn't know. Anyway, so yeah. Yeah, and then later on, national security. Sign this piece of paper. Oh, yeah, sign my letterhead, said the president or the person in the White House. Pretend like I'm powerful. Anyway, and he wasn't really that powerful. He was just a guy sitting behind a desk. That used to be mine. Sitting in my house, going, I sit behind the desk, and I'm you. The great, whatever. And it's like, no, I'm me. You're you sitting behind my desk. And Jimmy Carter was like, I can do anything. I mean, he might as well just been on drugs, really. He was just sitting behind my desk. And it was just Lucifer White Star's desk in my White House. He was just trying to whatever, and it's like. So that's why I would say, climb, climb, climb. Go for the gold. Go all the way. And Richard Nixon or Jimmy Carter, who figured that he was going to be president for life. He was going to go all the way. Blah, 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 blah. So they set up all this stuff where he was going to go all the way, and he was, and they set up all these things where, yeah, my son, my little great president, and yeah, my parents said, and I said to his son, you're going to go all the way, and they're just doing all this stuff to it's just everything a little bit, expecting that they already won or think that they already won, or, anticipating their win before it even happened. Like I said, the farthest he got was what was basically some high school where they made a bunch of films and gave out a bunch of pens, and then later on, after they failed or got killed or whatever, they were just like posting, and I guess it was a family or Richard Nixon just trying to making it look like he was a president. He was, I don't know. So I don't really know, like whatever, man. He was crazy. Bunch of people were crazy. So, yeah. Just like Rodney. Crazy. Someone had lied to Rodney and convinced Rodney that the Republicans were right. The Republicans, blah, 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 too expensive, blah, 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 blah. And like I said, the Republicans the whole time were just cutting back on expenses, and then, like I said, in half the time, they were literally just being shipped the bulletproof vests, or just being shipped the cars. So then they had to go out and sell the cars that the police departments were supposed to be getting. So instead of the police departments getting the proper amount of supplies and the proper amount of cars, they were having to have to turn around and go sell the cars that the police departments were supposed to get to the public. And the police departments were getting the cars because the cars weren't doing all that well in sales. So, and that's why I was just giving them to the police departments and stuff like that, because it's like, well, since I built them and because I can't sell them, I'll just put the leftover to the police departments. And that was my idea. And then they were taking whatever with their cutbacks and trying to sell, and they were just literally just basically used car salesmen selling cars that weren't really valued or we had built too many of, and just skimming a little bit here, skimming a little bit there, and then they were trying to skim money, but like I said, I wasn't giving money to the police departments. I was just giving them all the stuff that I manufactured. Like I have a gun manufacturing place. I have a bulletproof vest manufacturing place. I have a car manufacturing place. I have everything, because that's the way you do it in the old days. So they weren't even really skimming money. They were skimming stuff. The same thing as Ronnie Beretti trying to skim trucks going across the desert. And he was just skimming the independent truckers and basically shooting them and killing them or something like that, or trying to take over their trucks. So you could skim more off the top. So, there's all these great, epically stupid people or epically whatever people. You don't even need a third-grade education to be epic stupid. And meanwhile, all the smart people are all the other people who were going around researching and actually knew anything, and that's why they were, like a whole bunch of people who didn't want anybody else to be smart because, I don't know, you might as well just go rape a girl or something like that, or go do some drugs. I mean, you're in the same league as the druggies. All these senators are like, and the druggies are just like, yeah, man, it's cool. And the druggies are keeping pace with the senators and the most psycho. You gotta play the game. Yeah, you gotta keep the keys of the what's called. You gotta do your props. You gotta pay back to your gang. You gotta do your and like 5 or 6 different teams of people are like, and the druggies are like, yeah, it's space dust for sure, man. Nah, that's stupid. It's like, I guess that's maybe why JFK or some of the JFKs like, it's retarded. For a while they even had this video, this thing where it was basically, like that on the TV. Like just be like, there's like the retarded whatever, because like he had some idea of whatever, and like I said, he was just making fun of everyone and it was mostly him anyway, or later him. Eventually Nixon would be like, and it's like, and like, that's why the druggies are probably, the druggies probably get to space before Nixon or anyone else, and and John McCain, who is probably skimming off the budget. Like I said, I had an accounting of the budgets, and it turned out all these senators were stealing money, and John McCain, well, I don't think there's money in the budget, and signing, we approved it, and then they would just take the money or whatever. And like I said, normally, actually, I didn't even do it like that. I just would hire people to go do it, and invent it. And that's why I got all my rockets, because we would just invent and learn and do it together, and all that. And that's why I was never affected. I didn't use money. I just had people. So anyway, whatever. Like I said, whatever. That's why, like, that's why me and Germany were like, and I was like, rough, rough, rough. Like me and Germany, me and Ireland, me and all these other groups were like, yeah, rough, 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 let's go. We were like, that's why America was like, like me and Ireland, just a simple ship company, and me and all these groups were just like, yee. It's just like, it's comical. I don't care. So anyway, so I partaked, and I did this and I did that, and I didn't do anything. Very much a pacifist mostly. And I was able to just say, I love you. Mwah. Snuggles. And oh well, it's just my vacation on a planet. So anyway, it's a very nice planet. It's one of the nicest in the fleet, like I say. Of 400 planets, this is one of the nicest looking and the best. There are other planets with higher technology and this and that, and that was like, I don't know, some great amount of time ago. Like I used to know all the different whatever.